Alright everyone, hello and welcome to another season preview video. So in the last one, we're talking about the Reach Throwback. This one, we talk about the side series going into the fall. And I want to give a little bit of info on the why. I don't want to go too deep into it. Maybe I'll talk about it more in a different video. But a little bit of an explanation on it for why I wanted to do like these series in particular. But before we get into that, let's just go through what it is. So again, if you missed it, Reach Throwback, like short summary, typical old format that we used to do way back in the day for the Reach races. So going back to a format similar to that, similar layout of the schedule, and all Reach, as you can imagine, Reach tracks, Reach races, stuff like that. So that's what's going on there. So for the next series, so back in, I want to say like July or so, when we were talking about doing like the hog tracks and stuff, we're looking at other throwback series because of course we're doing TRS throwback series, World of Outlaw throwback series. And so there was kind of like a funny pun here with Firestone Firehawk because we could do Firestone Firehog. So that was like kind of an idea for a new series going into the fall. So that was one thing that we were thinking about. And also it like kind of completes the trifecta of like Halo 4 throwbacks, because we have the 3 series that like we started in Halo 4, World of Outlaw, TRS, and Firestone Firehawk, and of course we did the other 2. Now I want to do this one, so that's kind of like why we did this this one in particular. But it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than the Firestone Firehog idea that we had. That's why it's Firestone Firehawk. It's a little bit different. So what it is, go through it like we did with the Reach Throwback. So the black and blue. The black and blue races on the schedule are Halo 4 tracks, GP tracks, with mongooses. So that's what these black and blue ones are. And then the purple and white are different types of layouts, not necessarily all GP tracks, with hogs on Halo 2 Anniversary, the civilian hogs. And then the black and gold one at the end is black and gold, kind of similar to like the special events that we did in the Reach schedule, how they were like a different color. Similar to that. This is actually the chili hog, as you can imagine, is going to be hogs on a chili track, that style of track, but specifically for the hogs, made specifically for the hogs. I just made it a different color in the schedule to signify like the special event, like season finale. It is H2A hogs as well, so it could be purple and white. But again, I just wanted to show like special event like we did in the Reach schedule. So that's what it is, a little hybrid series, kind of similar to what we did with TRS, going back and forth between the gooses and the hogs, between throwback and new. So yeah, should be, again, very similar to what we did in TRS, if you look at it that way, but a little bit different with the more frequent switches between what we're using to race. So yeah, basically I just wasn't really sure. So like the 2 main reasons, wasn't really, I guess it's kind of like 3. So wasn't really sure if I wanted to full send on a hog series. So this is a way to do it where it's still like predominantly the hogs, but it's not full send on a hog series. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to full send on that. So here we have a schedule where you get a little bit of both. So if somebody likes one more than the other, hopefully it kind of satisfies everyone to some extent. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we did TRS and Woo throwback, wanted to complete the Trinity there with the Firestone Firehawk, so wanted to do that, something in that spirit. So I wanted to do that. Didn't want to full send on the hogs. Oh, and then the last one is, so like forging. So the last few series, with the amount of like forging that was required and how like most of the stuff wasn't done going into the season, honestly kind of just like sick of that and burned out from that. So this applies to the Reach Throwback and this series. I wanted to do 2 series in the fall where forging is like an afterthought, where like everything or damn near everything is done and ready to go. And for the Reach Throwback, that is the case. All I had to do for the Reach Throwback is one of the tracks for some reason was missing, one of the Supercross tracks, it was Floodline, was just missing part of a berm for some reason. I don't know why, but that particular save that I was able to find of that track was just missing. Part of a berm was just missing. It was just not there. So I just went in, put the other piece down, and it took like not even 5 minutes. So that was easy fix. That was literally the full extent of the forging that'll go into the reach throwback was me placing that other side of that berm. That is probably all that will be done on the forge side of things for the reach throwback. So that's pretty funny. So that was literally it there. Total afterthought. That's all I had to do. For this series, there's going to be a little bit more, but emphasis on a little bit. Like, it's not a whole lot. So, Claystone okay, so the Halo 4 tracks. First of all, Halo 4 tracks, those are just good. Those are just good to go. Technically, I had to put checkpoints on them, but I already did that, and it did not take very long. That was easy. So, they needed checkpoints. I did that. That was the full extent of the forge that was needed on those, and it's all done. Claystone Compound, our first hog track, is just good. Unless Opix wants to do anything to it, it's totally fine. Lakeview was a track that it was supposed to be for the World of Outlaws season. It was supposed to be a goose track. I made it way too big, and I was like, you know what? This is so, like, what if I got something out of this? Let me try it with hogs. And then it worked perfectly. I accidentally made a hog track, hog oval. So, that's what that is. And the actual track layout itself is done. I just need to put down walls. Walls, maybe checkpoints and spawns. That's all I have to do. So that's nothing. That's barely anything. That track is damn near good to go. I'll probably finish it up before we even start week 1. So, not a whole lot there. Road America is pretty much good to go. Maybe some bordering, but I think we finished most of it. If Road America's not completely ready to go, I think it's similar to this track where it could be like 20 minutes of work max and it could be ready to go. So these are just a little bit of touch-ups. Pretty much good to go. The only full new forge that I think anyone is doing for these last two, or for these fall series, is this chili hog idea, to do the chili track with the hogs. That is it. That is literally it. That is the only from the ground up new thing that we are doing, and it's all the way at the end of November, so there's plenty of time to work. I want to finish it before then, but there's plenty of time to work on it and test it and perfect it and just like work on one good new thing for these 2 series. So yeah, that is literally it. Aside from touch-ups, and like polishing, this is like the only new forge throughout either of these 2 series. And again, I just felt like super burned out from it, and a lot of it was just like the stress of it, just like going into a race week being like, damn, I gotta finish what we're racing on. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta figure that out. I just wanted to go into this fall series without, again, for the most part, this being the one exception, literally one exception, like not having to worry about that for a full schedule, because that's not something that I've had to do. Like, that's not a comfort that I've had throughout the entire year. I guess for the Halo 5 stuff, there was like backups, but we still planned on doing like some new tracks for each of the stages when we were doing the stage stuff. So even for that applied. So yeah, like throughout the entire year, there has not been a case of any of the seasons where I was like, okay, yeah, we've got this ready to go from the start, and I don't have to worry about the forge side till the finish. That has not been the case a single time. I don't want that for these last 2 series. Just from a stress side of things, I don't want to have to worry about that. I don't want anybody else to have to worry about that, because of course it's not like it's just me. I had people helping me with the forge side of things. Many different people helped me with the forge side of things for many of these different series. So yeah, just that added stress for all of us. I just wanted to not have to worry about that. And so that's why, that's a big reason why these 2 particular series are what are being ran. Part of it is the trifecta thing and all the other stuff I talked about, and then for the reach throwback, just because it'd be cool. Haven't done it in a long time. We tested out some reach racing in TRS. We've had the reach throwback idea for even longer than this Firestone Firehawk idea. And you know, it has all the tracks ready to go and stuff like that. Like, it's not like this forge stress side of it is like the entire reason why these 2 series were selected, but it was kind of just like a good match. It was like, okay, these are 2 really cool series ideas, and we won't have to do a lot of the forging. Like, a lot of that will be ready to go. So that was kind of the thing going into it, right? It was just like a perfect match where I was like, these are 2 series that we won't have to worry much from that side, and they should be fun, and they're things that, like, I think we want to do. So that's kind of like why. And I'll look at the results again, but yeah, same change with the lap 1 position for the plus minus, same change there. And again, it's 1 track, 2 motos for this series, for the nights, except for the last night. The grand finals is 3 tracks, classic, 2 motos for each. And the moto length, I don't know if I forgot to mention this, but the moto length is not as long as the Reach Throwback races. It's similar to the H5 races. The moto length is similar to the H5 races. The Reach Throwback moto length is similar to the TRS. And I think maybe World of Outlaw. I'm not sure if we did the long motos for World of Outlaw or not. But TRS for sure. Reach Throwback is similar to that length, and this is similar to like old H5 length. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I kind of want to go more in depth on things, but I don't want this to be too long, and I wanted this to more be about like what the season is. So yeah, maybe in another video later in the week, maybe I'll go more in depth on that. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about that. But I don't know if there's any questions or whatever for either of these, of course, go ahead in the comments. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say. So yeah, Reach Throwback and Firestone Firehawk Season 3. Firestone Firehawk Season 3 featuring a mix of the Halo 4 GP Goose tracks, and then the Hog tracks with different types of tracks in there with the Hogs on H2A, and then the Reach Throwback, of course, all old, like 10 plus years old, classic Reach tracks with the Mongooses, just total throwbacks. So that's like the gist of what each of these series are. Yeah, hope everyone's excited for these, and should be a cool closeout to the end of the year. And I'll see you guys in the next video.